This is Warlord Awaji, or I should say, this is the demo for Warlord Awaji. If you haven't already seen, there is a new upcoming samurai game set during the turbulent Nanbokucho period. In fact, I recently had a great interview with the game's developer, Matthew, and historical advisor, Thomas Conlon. Now, originally, this video was supposed to come out last week, as Matthew was kind enough to send me a code for the demo of the game to try out for myself. However, with the announcement of Ghost of Yote, my plans ended up being pushed back a bit. In fact, I first wanted to get this video out before the official playtest for Warlord Awaji went live, but as you are watching right now, the playtest is live now for you to check out for yourself. So hopefully this video will help you decide if you want to jump in and check out the demo as well. Anyways, what you are seeing on screen here are my first few hours of testing out some of the basic features of Warlord Awaji. What's currently available in the demo isn't too much just yet. Basically, we just have a simple instant action mode where you are able to set things up with some toggles and character customization, and then hop into a map where you can run around and fight an enemy team and capture objectives. This is a simple taste, but you can definitely get a great sense of what is possible. Now, right away, I want you all to keep in mind that this is an indie game being made by one single person. It's not some super massive endeavor, and it certainly has the look and feel of a lot of other indie games, and that's fine. In fact, I very much enjoy the beautiful yet simplistic art style. The world looks lush and vivid, and there is even a day, night, and weather cycle. The units as well are all detailed in period-accurate armor and weapons. In fact, as you might already know, historical accuracy is something this game is going to be leaning very heavily into. I mean, Thomas Conlon of all people is the historical advisor for it. And just from the conversation I had with him and Matthew, I got the sense that accuracy is one of the most significant things they are focusing on. This also comes into play with unit names as well, as when you defeat an enemy, you see what rank they were using period-accurate terms. And I gotta say, it's great to finally see the very real samurai practice of head-taking actually be made into a full component in a game. This is something almost every samurai game completely ignores. The one thing I do hope, and I have talked to Matthew about this, but I think it would be awesome to have some sort of third-person view that can be toggled on and off, so you can see all the heads you are carrying. That would be interesting. Now, this has nothing to do with leveling up in the actual campaign mode, I'm pretty sure, which I imagine will end up being quite a bit different. As Matthew has told me, the campaign is going to be the primary mode where pretty much all of the content will be. Yet, for this simple instant action mode, it is through defeating enemies and taking their heads that you get experience points which level you up. You then get access to different types of armor and weapons. Now, I have not gotten to the point yet where I have unlocked anything really significant, but I am able to pick up different weapons off the ground to test them out. What we currently have available in the game to use are Tachi swords, Tanto daggers, Odachi great swords, Naginata polearms, and Yari spears. At least from what I've seen. Let me know down below if I'm missing any. As of right now, it feels like Yari spears are the best, at least from what I've seen. Stabbing attacks appear to be the most effective and difficult to block, while slashes are usually parried away and often leave you open to counterattack. Combat itself is quite challenging, and I'm not sure if it just needs more polish or if I have not mastered a seemingly steep learning curve. What's nice though is working in groups with allies to take down groups of enemies. At a low level you are pretty much on your own and can just follow other groups around if you want. But it seems as though the higher up you are, you will start acquiring warriors under your command who will instead follow you. And this brings us to perhaps one of the most difficult aspects of the game that I have witnessed so far. Telling who is friend from foe. As of right now, I have little clue. According to Matthew, there is a color code based on allies and enemies. Apparently units with black, green, or blue armor are allies, while units with red, orange, or brown are enemies. But honestly, it's still been very difficult to distinguish this despite knowing it. There have been times when I think I'm coming up on a group of allies only to have them then turn and attack me. I did mention this to Matthew as well because I was wondering if he had any plans to maybe put markers over their heads or maybe banners on them. But as of right now, he purposefully wants to keep it as it is. This will definitely take some getting used to, which is something Matthew admits as well. Yet he does favor this approach because historically, armies at the time had no unified color coordination, so it would be quite chaotic in terms of color and who was who. So I do completely understand his choice here, despite the frustration it might cause. Besides, it definitely adds an interesting element to the battles, at least until perhaps your eyes get trained to recognize things better. There are a number of other minor quality of life elements that I hope get added in, smaller things like turning down the running speed or even a mini-map system so you can get the lay of the land better, but we'll have to wait and see about that. I know this is still very early on in the game's development, so we have to temper our expectations. Yet still, I am very happy with what I do see and am excited for all the potential, especially because of the conversations I've had with Matthew about things that are coming. For example, a couple of things that are not in the game yet at the time of recording this video are cavalry and archers. These are going to be eventually put in the game and will certainly make battles even more dynamic. But most of all, I'm just excited to see what is to come from the actual campaign. Right now, I know very little about the campaign, besides that it sounds like we will have a central story with characters, but that it will also be extremely in-depth with many more features in terms of progression and even a building system. And what adds on to this, and really just the game in general, is the fact that it does take place during a setting we really don't ever see explored in games. The violent Nanbokucho period of the 14th century is really quite a fascinating period, and it's awesome to see a game dive into this and try its best to depict the chaotic battles of this age as realistically as possible. I am very hyped for this, and you can be sure that I will make more videos on the game in the future. With that said though, I hope you enjoyed this brief video, and I hope it does help provide some more insight about Warlord Awaji. As I said before, the playtest is currently live. I believe the way you can access it is through Steam, where you can request permission to take part in testing out the demo. So, if you have tried out the game already, or are just intrigued by it from this video or others, I'd love to hear your comments down below. What do you think so far about Warlord Awaji? Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell if you enjoyed this video and found it to be most interesting.